Another episode of the Writer's Block here. Tonight, I've got Nick Youngblood, a Clay-Chalkville baseball player. You a senior, Nick?
Yes, sir. Going to my senior year.
Senior year. How does it feel?
A little bit overwhelming. Um, kind of ready for it, but at the same time, I'm gonna miss it. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
You trying to kind of like slow down each day, take it all in, that kind of
Yeah,
thing?
kind of enjoying getting up for school, getting ready for school in the morning and stuff like that. Something usually I would not be ready for, but this year I kind of take it day by day.
Yeah, no, that's the approach right there. Just kind of idle through these next, 8, 9 months, and because it will go by fast. That is for sure. Like I think it was like it's been like a decade ago now, but I remember speaking. I talked to like a creative writing class at Pinson Valley High School, and just went in. They wanted to know, just like my writing process and working for the newspaper and all those things. And I was like 25, 26 at the time. And they kept calling me sir. And that was weird for me. I was like, hey, I'm only 26. And they looked at me like, yeah, bro, that's old. And I was like, I'm only 4 years out of college, like, and y'all are about to go to college, so it goes by fast,
Yeah,
and it starts to go by faster and faster after school is up, whether that be high school, college. It just, man, it just moves a lot quicker after that.
for sure, for sure. I remember
Have
being
you?
I
Go
remember
ahead.
being at the freshman meeting and our principal, our former principal, Mr. Lee, he was like, "This will be the fastest of your life," and he was not lying. It truly it goes by really fast.
Yeah, I love Michael Lee. He was always one of my favorites, around town when I was doing this stuff full time. He was, he'd shoot you a happy birthday text, and honestly, a lot of people in my line of work, you know, I'm not throwing anybody specific under a bus or anything, but in a lot of ways, they're somewhat using you in a way, like what you do is a service to them and it gets them something that they need, right? And he was very big on that relationship side of things, like we would talk if it wasn't for a story. We still talk today, I'll text him every now and then, even though he's, moved on and he's at Thompson now, and has obviously had some stuff happen in his life. And but we keep in touch, and that's what it's all about, is building those relationships that can last beyond a business transactional, whatever, that kind of thing.
For sure.
You always been a Clay guy?
I've always been a Clay guy. Went to Clay Elementary, Clay Middle School, and now the high school. So I've pretty much grown up here.
Yeah. What do you like most about it?
The environment, the community. You get like a small town. Everybody knows everybody, so it's just building, like you said, building relationships. Kind of everybody's in your corner, and you have this circle of support. So that's what I mostly love about it.
Yeah, I've always kind of said that about Clay. Is it's I went to Hewitt Trustful, but I don't much buy into the, like I said, I'm old now, so I don't really buy into the, like, oh, because I went to Hewitt Trustful I dislike Clay-Chalkville. Like I love coming over there. It's one of my favorite places to be. Some of the best friends I've made in doing this, coaches wise and that kind of thing, have been at Clay-Chalkville. Justin Burdett being one of them, mainly from football, but obviously he's one of your coaches for baseball. Obviously, Coach Stuart Floyd, he's been one of my kind of best relationships I've made during all this. And I've always kind of said what I love about Clay is it's so dominantly residential. Um, Not much seems to change. You kind of know what you're getting. Like, hey, I know the Piggly Wiggly is going to be open.
Right.
Like I know at late night after a game of coverage, if I'm feeling the sweet tooth a little bit, I know DQ is right next door. You know what I
Right.
mean? You
Sure. For
probably
sure.
y'all probably hit foul balls up to the DQ
We do.
from up there. So what do y'all do like we're recording this, as school has kind of just started and baseball being a spring sport, like what do y'all do during the fall?
All right. So during the fall, it's usually a Monday, Wednesday, Friday will be taking care of the field, getting it ready to practice on and stuff like that, making sure it's nice because it's really hard to take care of the summer with everybody out of town playing like summer ball and stuff like that and traveling. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we'll go in the weight room and just lift weights and kind of getting ready for that season.
I got you. How did last year go for y'all?
It went a lot better than 2 years ago. We made that was our biggest goal was having improvement, and we finished even 10-10. So that was definitely a big time change that we needed in the program for sure. So I give props to Coach Rob and Coach B. They helped change that around for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there was once upon a time, when I was doing this stuff full time, like I'm just kind of freelancing, mostly high school football, but freelancing here and there and doing this podcast to try to stay connected and that kind of thing. I mean, once upon a time, Clay-Chalkville baseball was like, I mean, like when you would have been growing up, like was legit, legit. Like I remember Coach Malden winning a state title there that, he's now at Hewitt Trustful, but they win that state title. I think it was 2003.
Yeah,
I mean, I saw, if I get his name wrong, I apologize, but I think it was Dylan Smith, I think was his name. I
sounds
think he went
familiar.
on, I think he went on and played at Auburn. I mean, he was one of those guys, you as a baseball guy, you understand this. The sound when his bat made contact, it was just
Yeah,
different. Like
different.
just different. I mean, putting him into the pines over the fence at Clay Chalkville, like seemingly with ease. Like when he came up, it was just like, okay, he's going to do something. So Matthew Calvert, he's one of those guys that
Yeah,
became one of
so
my good. Huh?
I saw him the other day.
Did you? Um, he became one of my good friends through all this. I wanted to write a story on him, and I don't think Matthew would mind me mentioning this, but when his mom passed, I think he was a sophomore or something like that in high school, and he kind of burst on the scene, throwing these little like 5 inning no hitters against like a corner high school or something like that, and it was like this kid's got stuff. And
Right.
asked if I could do that story and about him and his mom and baseball and all of that wrapped together, and he trusted me with it. You know, Coach at the time, Coach Brandon Johnson, then at the time, I think he's at Etowah now. I can't remember for sure, but they trusted me with it, and our relationship grew from that. So Clay Chalkville has had just unbelievable teams and unbelievable people associated with it for a long time. So it's nice to hear, you saying like a 10-10, but like, that there's been significant improvement. So I guess that kind of leads to I mean, this is a ways off, but this upcoming spring, what are kind of the cliche thing is the goals, but what are y'all kind of looking to achieve?
Definitely the main goal is making a playoff run. I believe the last time we made playoffs was I want to say 2018. So making a playoff push, that's the biggest goal for sure. We were really close to that last year. Kind of lost in a heartbreak fashion. We beat Pinson, um, lost to Mormon Jordan, but Pinson won one game against Mormon Jordan. So that game kind of kicked us out. So that really
Oh,
because a lot of the seniors that graduated were some of the guys I've been playing with since T or not T-ball but coach pitch. So that was our chance, like our last hoorah, I guess you want to say, of making trying to go to playoffs together. But it's a new season, so we're gonna try and be a little bit better this year. I think it's definitely possible. We have I believe it's Garndale and Pinson in our area this year, and I I truly believe we have a shot at making the playoffs for sure.
Yeah. Are you, I mean, I know you're a senior, but are y'all looking to be like, are y'all going to be a fairly experienced team, or are y'all going to be breaking in a lot of new guys?
Definitely having some new guys. We were really senior heavy last year, so a lot of seniors played last year. So we're definitely gonna have some new guys coming in. First time getting some varsity PT, but they're definitely ready. They've proven themselves on JV for a long time. Coach Robs did a good job developing them. So it's gonna be interesting, but it's gonna turn out really well. It's gonna turn out really well in my opinion. So.
Yeah. Do you see yourself now, like you mentioned, you had a lot of senior guys leave, and now this is your senior year. You see yourself as a leader, the leader on the team, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think um, trying to trying to remain humble, but I believe if you ask some of my teammates, they would definitely consider me as being a leader, especially the past 3 years from my sophomore year. Though my freshman year, we had some really good guys, Josh Irvin, Javen Hunter. So those guys, they kind of just took me under their wing and showed me the right way to do stuff. And
Yeah.
I kind of took it over my sophomore year, and just kind of trying to lead by example and just be a good influence to everybody else around us. And that kind of, as the years have gone on, has gotten even better.
Yeah. What I've seen some of your stuff, obviously on whether it be on Twitter or Instagram. So I know you catch. You play infield some too. Like where do you kind of like to be on the field?
Definitely catching. That's my primary position. But if I don't catch, I usually play second or somewhere in the corners. So, but I've been catching since I was 7, and then this past year I just caught, and then the year before that I get some time in the infield. So my freshman year, actually started. I played first base. So
How do you like catching since 7? Because I remember a long time ago. So game was a little different in terms of what kids were coached to do and what position you wanted to play and all that kind of thing. But how at that young of an age do you end up a catcher? Because when I was growing up, it was a lot like I said, it was a lot different, and it was very much hey, we've already got all our positions filled, so this kid, you're going to be the catcher. Or it might, or honestly, I mean, no shame here, it might have been like chunkiest kid on the team, you're the catcher. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like how at a young age do you get involved being the catcher?
So actually, like just from being completely honest, a young age, I loved catching. I thought it was the coolest position on the field. I don't know why. My dad was a catcher, so I guess that's where it came from. But I remember watching on TV when I was little, and I was I would emulate what they were doing on TV because I just wanted to be a catcher so bad. I thought that was the coolest thing. Plus, I was a little bit bigger when I was smaller, so they did put me behind the plate. So I mean that could have something to do with it, but majority was because of the love that I like catching. I love it. It's amazing.
Who'd you grow up trying to emulate? Who are the catchers you like to watch the most?
Um, The first catcher that I really loved to watch was David Ross, with the Cubs. Him, and then they went to Yadier Molina. He's my all time favorite catcher. He's a beast. And
He
then
was he was the Molina with the Cardinals, right?
right.
Okay. Who after him? You were about to say someone else.
Yeah, right now, in the
Yes.
league, right, I would probably say either Jose Trevino for the Yankees or Patrick Bailey with the Giants. Patrick Bailey, he has an arm. He can throw that
Okay.
thing.
I don't know much about these guys, man. I mean, I know enough about Ross and Molina, but
Yeah,
yeah, like I'm still of that era. Like you mentioned a catcher for the Giants, I'm immediately thinking Buster Posey. You know,
yeah,
you mentioned a Yankees catcher, I'm thinking Posada, who, you know, once upon a time, I think was committed to Alabama before he made that jump to the pros, I think. I mean, someone will fact check me on that, but there was that chance that a guy named Jorge Posada was going to play at the University of Alabama, which would have been cool. But
yeah.
man, so is it mostly a defensive thing for you, like watching these guys? Like 'cause everybody gets to bat, but like, is it just the arm, the technique? You know, the is it even in the head, like the calls they're making in certain situations that you kind of study?
Yeah, I would say David Ross, probably the best captain of
Mm.
catching I've seen. No, him he was able to call his own games a lot. I mean, that's why he's a manager now. But him being able to call his own games is, um, I can't remember how many no hitters he caught. I'm pretty sure he caught multiple, but like just the aspect of knowing what to do in certain situations and having all of it on you and your choice, that is, he was great at that. I mean, that was some of the best I've ever seen. And then, like physical wise, I would say Yadier Molina with his arm. That was, he could do some spectacular things. And then right now, Jose Trevino for the Yankees, he can frame. He can frame really, really well. That's something that not a lot of people really like look at when it comes to catching, but framing, stealing strikes for a pitcher goes a long way. If you can make him feel good on the mound and fool that guy behind the plate, that goes a very long way.
We'll make sure the AHSAA umpires don't catch wind of this podcast, you know, and
We're gonna hope. I think I made a pretty good relationships with them the past 2 3 years, so hopefully they know it's just trying to do my
yeah.
job.
Yeah, well that's important in baseball at any level too, right? Like that catcher umpire relationship actually is pretty important.
Very, very important.
Very. Man, yeah, I was trying to look up. I know David Ross caught Jake Arrieta's uh no. Alec Mills, maybe so at least two. I don't know
Yeah,
much about Alec Mills. That was one of those one-off no hitters, I guess. But I know who Jake Arrieta is.
yeah.
So, how long? When did you start playing baseball? How young?
Um, I would guess. Okay, I started playing for Clay Rec when I was 7, but when I was 4 or 5 years old, me and my dad would just go outside and just play catch and hit off the tee. Just like, to me, it was just me and my dad just going out and having fun. But in reality, I was working on stuff that would benefit me in the future. So that was pretty cool. Now that I look back at it, it's something special.
Yeah. Well, so how far did your dad play? Did he play just like high school ball? Did he play beyond that?
Yeah, he just played high school ball. He was extraordinary in high school. If I'm being honest with you, he could have played in college, but he did battle some like an eye injury. He had a cornea transplant, so like getting very hard for him to see the ball.
Mhm.
But other than that, he was a beast behind the play. It was insane. I've seen some of
Wow.
the. I've heard stories. I don't know if they make it bigger than what it was, but I've heard stories and they said he was really really good. So I'll take that with
Wow.
the.
Did he play here locally somewhere?
He didn't. He was from Benson, Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Man, that's awesome. Like father, like son.
Yes, sir.
All right. Who's your favorite team?
I don't really have a favorite team, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, if you made me pick, I would go with the Red Sox because one of my former coaches, Garrett Whitlock, he's currently a relief pitcher for the Red Sox. He coached me when I was playing summer ball with Caba. As
Hmm.
Yeah, so he was being able to like having one-on-one conversation with him, and then seeing a year later him pitching on TV is the coolest thing that I've ever witnessed. It's amazing. And then still having that relationship, I could like if I had any problem or any questions, I could just text him right now and he would be there for me. So that's a really special place to me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was just pulling up his a little bit about him because I don't know about him. See, he's from Georgia.
Yeah, went to
Professional career. Where do you play?
UAB. He
Okay.
graduated from UAB.
Wow. Professional career with the Yankees and Red Sox. So, yeah, doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah.
Man, that's cool. Have you been to a game at Fenway? Have you ever been to Boston?
I've never been to Boston. I believe the only MLB park I've been to is the Braves, Truist.
Okay. Dude.
Turner Field and Truist. You can count both of
Yeah.
those.
Oh, yeah. So me and my wife went to Boston back in 2016, something like that. And, she's the planner of the vacation stuff. Like, in another life, she would be a travel agent, and she would be a darn good one. And I said, I'm good with anything. I love the history up there. You do all the touristy stuff, but I said we're getting tickets to a Sox game. Like,
Right.
not debatable. And so we got tickets and we went. They were playing an interleague game, so they were playing the Diamondbacks, and we took the day tour. We went and paid and just did the like. They take you in the press box. You get to go on the monster. You do all the things. You get to see like an old Babe Ruth bat. Like
Yeah.
it's awesome. It is awesome. And so we go to the game, and we had to get up early the next day, so we didn't stay the full 9 innings. It was also like I could find the box score, but like I think we saw Hanley Ramirez hit like a grand slam. Like the Red Sox were up like 11-3 or something in like the fourth inning. Like it took like a few hours to get to the fourth inning because they were just putting it on Arizona. And that place is unbelievable. It's everything anybody says about it. The history, just the feeling when you get there, seeing the monster, the people all around the stadium before the game. Um, there was nothing quite like it. And literally, we're planning another trip to Boston, and we'll take our son, and he'll definitely go to Fenway. It is a bucket list baseball park for sure. Um,
Yeah.
Boston's always been my second favorite. I'm a Braves guy through and through. Have been since I probably could walk. Um, but I will pull for the Red Sox. Unabashedly, I will pull for the Red Sox. I love the history up there, and I love that franchise. And they're gritty, man. Like even when there's like Dustin Pedroia's gone, Manny Ramirez is gone, David Ortiz is gone, but like that team is still just gritty. It seems like a culture thing to me up there.
Yeah, for sure.
I was wearing my. I remember I was wearing my like Alabama shirt and stuff, and that's just what's in my closet. We live here in Jefferson County, Alabama. University of Alabama stuff's in my closet, so that's what I wore. And I probably got like a dozen Roll Tides like inside of Fenway Park, which was wild. It was weird,
That's
but it was
great.
super cool. There, people are super nice up there. Um, did not much enjoy the trip to New York, but Boston was just it was an A plus. A plus. So
Yeah,
who's
I can imagine that short trip. Yeah, I can imagine.
it's it's awesome. Did you get to go speaking of famous stadiums and stuff, did you get to go to Rickwood Field in Birmingham with any of the MLB stuff here for the tribute to the Negro Leagues?
I did. I went to a celebrity softball game, and then I went to the MLB game after that. So yeah,
Oh,
was
you got to go
that
to
was
the MLB game.
that was amazing. I remember what was I doing? I think me and my family just got there. I think I brought a lemonade and I turned left. Next thing you know, Derek Jeter, David Ortiz, A Rod, and who else was it? Dontre Willis just walked right past me, just like it was nothing.
My gosh.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I just went to the minor league game. Uh, my wife was out of town for the major league game, so I was in on the, the little ticket lottery and all that, but couldn't pull the trigger, with her out of town. But went to the
Yeah.
minor league game, and I was in the stadium when they announced that Willie Mays had died. And
Yeah.
knowing at least a little bit about that history, him being from Fairfield, being from here, and really kind of getting his start, even if it wasn't for that long before before the Giants called him up. Being in that place when that was announced was surreal, like
Yeah.
really surreal. And then I guess it was a couple weeks ago now. They had Rickwood. They open it a lot for just they'll have card shows there, memorabilia card shows and stuff like that. And I told them I wanted to come and do a lot of content. I was like, I want to record a couple podcasts, do all the things. And so I did a podcast with their executive director, chairman Gerald Watkins,
Oh,
who he do you know Gerald?
Gerald. I love Gerald.
He's awesome.
He is awesome. We play a lot of high school games there or any sort of travel games. He does a great job with that whole entire place. He is amazing.
Yeah, and he's too humble to say it, but it really seems like he got that game there. Like it
Yeah,
seems like he
he
worked
did.
on that for years trying to get that to happen.
He did. I remember him talking to my dad about it. Like he has so many events planned that it was number one on his priority list. I remember my dad telling me, Gerald said something good today. He was like, man, I want to have an MLB game here. And I was like, that would be a great idea. That'd be hard to pull off, but it'd be a great idea.
Yeah,
Look where we are now. So
made it happen.
yeah.
And then, part of that too, I was talking to, they've got the Friends of Rickwood Field out there, kind of their nonprofit that really,
Mhm.
helps keep the place alive and that kind of thing. And I've got a couple of friends in that group. And I said, I knew I'd been told that Willie Mays' son Michael was going to be there for this card show and just that event. And I said, I would love to get him to do the podcast if he's agreeable. Like I'm not going to twist his arm. I don't want to. I want it to be organic and natural and not feel forced. If he doesn't want to do it, I'm not offended. And I showed up that morning. I'm trying to remember what time I got there. I got there like I think the thing maybe started at like 10 a.m. and I was there by 9 because I was told like, hey, come early, get your parking, get in, meet some people, and maybe you can knock this thing out early. And so I get there, and then his son Michael, I met him in their museum slash shop gift shop area that morning, and we just sat there and shot the bull. And he was like the easiest dude to talk to, funny, witty, serious when he needed to be, and we just chatted. Just this wasn't even podcast stuff yet. This is just us
Yeah.
standing in the corner talking. And I told him, I said, hey, I do a podcast around town. I cover a lot of stuff around town. I'd love to record one with you today if you'd be down to do it. And he said, yeah, just when the thing's over at 1, he was like, just find me and we'll find a spot and we'll knock it out. And I said, all right. And so I hung around all day taking pictures. They were playing some sort of travel ball games there. I think like a Hewitt team and a Chelsea team were playing. And so that's an easy place to wander around and not really care about what time it is or how long it's been. It's that amazing. And
Right.
so at 1 o'clock when it ended, Gerald ends up saying, "Yeah, y'all can go into my office and record what you want to do," because I thought there would be more media there than there was, and there really wasn't much. It was me and a guy from Fox 6. And, you know, Gerald says we could go to his office, but his office, in the gift shop area, there's boxes everywhere, like, because he's just so busy all the time that he's got his stuff is everywhere because of how much he's doing and trying to do for that place. And he
Yeah.
goes, "Y'all," he's like, "Y'all can go use the offices if you want to." And I'm like, "Which offices?" And he's like, "The original offices. Like, when you walk up to Rickwood and you see that Rickwood Field in gold, those windows right above it are like the original offices that, like, Rick Woodward, who started the team, those were his offices." He was like, "You can record in there." And I was like, "Okay, yep, gonna do that. Like, gonna do that." And so the Fox 6 guy was awesome. He didn't need much. He's trying to put stuff on TV. So he just needed 2, 3 minutes out of
Yeah.
Michael Mays. And so I was like, "You go first." I said, "I'm going to take a little bit longer than you. You go first, knock it out." Right. So they knock out their interview. And then I sit with him for probably 30, 45 minutes, just talking about baseball, talking about Willie Mays, talking about his legacy, talking about Rickwood. And it was unbelievable. Um, just being able to talk to someone like that about his dad, like, not even like, "Hey, your dad hit 660 home runs. How cool is that?" Like, it wasn't that surface level stuff. "Hey, how about that catch in the, I forget the year, 54 World Series, that basket catch over, it was like, what was Willie Mays the dad like, where you feel like you're really getting to learn what the guy was like. And we laughed. He laughed. He cried. Unbelievable conversation, and it happening in the room
Yeah.
where where this team kind of got its start, in what is now obviously the oldest baseball park in the United States. I don't think I'll ever get over that I got to do that.
That's amazing. That is wow. That's truly amazing.
What's it like for you playing there?
It. I mean, really, the same feeling that you get, the same feeling I get. I remember my first time playing there. Um, it was. I remember stepping onto the field, and I was like, wow. Okay, the first thing I thought was like, wow, this feels big. It's huge. And then the backstop was so far. I was like, man, this thing's big. I was like, I want to say 14 years old. It was huge. But the underground dugouts, I thought that was so cool. Like you don't see
Yeah.
anything like. I thought that was the craziest thing. And then I remember my first time ever visiting the stadium was when they would have a Barons game there.
Rickwood
Um,
Classic.
Rickwood Classic, yeah. I remember going to that with my dad. We went there, I want to say 3 or 4 times, and going to that, it was amazing. You have them wearing the old time unis, and then like they would have a band playing music in between innings. I thought that was the coolest thing, and then have the
Yeah.
regular announcers, and then I remember Tim Anderson playing there, and um, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he hit a home run off that clock there when I was there. That was really cool. Yeah,
Whoa. I didn't even think that, like, I didn't even think about the Rickwood connection and you being a catcher and that backstop. Like, I didn't play high school baseball. I ended up going a different route after little league and all that. Rec league ended at age 14, but baseball is still far and away my favorite sport. But my dad played there back in the 70s, and he was a pitcher. And so he would always talk about that backstop and, like, okay, I can't throw one wild, can't have one in the dirt, hop over the catcher's glove, and because that's a run if someone's on third. What
it
kind
is.
of, just technically for you, what kind of adjustment is that, like, catching in a place where you're like, this backstop is far?
Um, if I'm being honest with you, you really don't. I don't think about it a lot when I'm playing. When I'm playing,
Yeah.
it's just I just I try not to look back there because it's so big. So if I focus being forward and I don't look back there, then it's all good. So that I mean, just staying focused, doing the same thing I would always do and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, that's probably the right approach. Like, don't let it get in your head, like, and let be distracted or something like that. Focus on, mitting that ball,
Yeah, for
man,
sure.
such a cool place. I want to do more and more with them as time goes on, if I can, if they'll continue to have me and, write some stuff out there, podcast, video, some stuff. I would love to eventually earn a spot into the Friends of Rickwood and keep that legacy alive. I love that place. It is
All right.
fantastic. So I've seen some stuff on like your socials and stuff. MLB develops, is that what it's called?
Yes, sir.
Tell me what it is and how you got involved.
Yeah, so MLB Develops is a part of MLB that focuses on really kids that are from inner cities that don't have as many opportunities as other people when it comes to getting drafted, having some of the Major League Baseball connections that they have. So I got involved with that with Papa Jack, he was a hitting coach for the Red Sox when they won it for David Ortiz. So he actually in Birmingham, and he helps out a lot around Birmingham, around the whole entire Birmingham area. So established a good relationship with him, and I went to they called it ID tour. It was at Montgomery Riverwalk Stadium where the Biscuits play. Ended up doing that little showcase there, and after that, I got invited to Hank Aaron Invitational. That was 3 years ago, and that was an unbelievable experience. Being down there for the first time, and you don't realize it, but you have so many great baseball players that have ever played the game sitting shoulder to shoulder with you. It's amazing. You got Griffey Sr., Reggie Smith, you got King Griffey Jr., you got Eric Davis. It's amazing. It's probably the best experience I've ever had to do with baseball in my entire life.
Man. So what is the goal going through in a MLB develops? Is it I mean, obviously to develop skills, but ultimately is it to get recruited, to get noticed? Like what are kind of the ultimate goals there?
I would say the biggest thing is establishing connections with all the network that you get there with tons of the coaches that will not only benefit you in the long run, but you just have so many connections that will just help you throughout life. Like you legit have a great connection with everybody there that does not fade away. So having that, and then of course, it does help you with recruiting. You have tons of coaches there at that event, and then past that, even with getting drafted, that it definitely helps with the draft stock for sure.
Wow. Okay. Are you getting some looks from universities, colleges, that kind of thing? How's that going for you?
It's been pretty good. If I'm gonna be honest with you, it started. Let me start. I started around last year. August 1st was when the contact period happened.
Yeah.
They kind of changed the rules, but I'm narrowing down my decisions. I'll probably make a official decision sometime this fall. So I'm try to keep it on low right now, and then make a decision by September, October, somewhere in there.
Ooh, coming soon.
Yes, sir.
Coming soon. That's awesome. Do you like I'm not gonna ask you who all your offers are unless you just want to tell me. That's up to you. But like what goes into a decision like that? Like I've covered tons of like football recruiting in the past and kind of especially in Alabama kind of know that game, but for baseball like you see a lot of guys who they don't immediately get a UAB or an Alabama or an Auburn, a 4-year school offer. Like there are tons of incredible baseball players who go JUCO route first. Like what is the recruiting process? What do you look for at that next level for you, like the type of place you want to go, like what boxes do you need to check to say this is a place I think I'd be happy at?
The biggest thing I would say is development. Difference with football and baseball when it comes to just the game in general, you have way more steps to get to where you want to be. So having a coach and having a program that's going to develop you to get to those like next step, just year after year after year, that's the biggest thing. And with the JUCO route, a lot of guys go JUCO. I mean, if you can go JUCO to a top notch program, do well after that, you may not go to a 4 year school because you may get drafted out that JUCO. So that's something that a lot of people do now. They go JUCO because they got people in the ear telling, "Hey, go JUCO, perform well there, and then we'll see you on an MLB team later." So that's a big pathway that a lot of people take. Besides going to a 4 year, but now with the transfer portal and all that stuff, you have a lot of mid major schools that will kind of feeder into those big D1 schools, the big like SEC schools and stuff like that. But I mean, besides that, the really biggest difference between all of that with football is the scholarship change. Before this, they changed the rule about 3 weeks ago. It was
Yeah.
11.7 scholarships per university in the NCAA D1 division. And now they changed it to 34. So that was a big help, but they cut down roster size. The roster was 40. Now I believe it's 35. So that was a big.
Interesting. Sounds like you've done your homework. This sounds like this is the dream, right?
Yeah, I mean it can get stressful at times, but I I gotta kind of look at it as a business because in reality that's what it is. It's more than just going out there playing the game. You got and you got these coaches' jobs, so they gotta do stuff to provide for their families. So I gotta make sure I perform and do stuff my on my end as well. So
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. I wanted to ask you something. You can see it on screen. I'm curious about this as someone who is kind of new to the tattoo game. Tell me what you got and why'd you get it?
all right, so this cross that I got it for my 17th birthday. Me and my mom actually got matching tattoos. So that was the first tattoo that I wanted. It's Joshua 1:9. It's a Bible verse. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be dismayed. For the Lord your God is with you forever, wherever you go. And then it says she in her handwriting it says I love you, son. So that's pretty cool. And then on hers I wrote I love you, mommy on hers. So that was really cool.
Oh my gosh. Like, so
And
basically what did y'all get them at the same time? Did y'all go together?
we did go together.
So y'all were both crying for more than the pain of that needle.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. She definitely was. She definitely was. I think she's crying right now, maybe. She may be crying right now.
You listening in?
Listen,
Hey, I had to go full I'm not ashamed to say it. I went full numbing cream when I got my two. Now I went in a little bit, I think a little bit more tender spot. I've got inner bicep here, and
mhm.
I just read the horror stories about
Yeah.
about that, and I was like, I found someone that I was comfortable with, that made me feel good about it, that was okay with the numbing cream, and all that. And you know, it turned out how I wanted. Now it's nothing like quite as, I didn't have to get all the shading, like your cross
Yeah.
has that shading and all that. And then yeah, and then you've got all the words. How long did it take?
This one, I believe, under the needle was around 4 hours. But
Oh my God.
this I got my cousin who passed away this past year. Um, it was his Bible verse that he liked a lot. So that I remember just kind of sitting during the service, and I was like, that really stuck with me. And I kind of remembered, and I was like, that's next thing that I get, that's probably gonna be something that I want. So that was pretty pretty sentimental to me.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I've got so like, all right, I'm gonna be weird here on the podcast and show you. So like mine's pretty small. Like that's
All
not
right.
huge.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just got a couple of hawk feathers. I love the meaning of hawks, whether that be clarity, spirituality, luck. Uh, there's a lot of meaning that goes along with hawks, and over the last few years, it seems like I've seen them more than I normally have. Even, especially in like if it's something that you're going through is a tough time or something like that, and I just see one flying over all of a sudden, and I'm like, I see, it's that sign kind of thing. And
Yeah.
then so I've got the words. There's three different rows of words, and those are just song lyrics and or song titles slash lyrics, and each of them is one that means something a lot to me, but each of them, uh, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. This is a little too deep, but like one of them is 11 letters, and my birthday is on the 11th of a month, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
one of them has 14 letters, and my wife's birthday is on the 14th. And the other one is 15 letters, and my son's birthday is on the 15th. So I got lyrics that mean a bunch, and then each of them are our birth dates. And
Okay.
then the recent one is even smaller. It's even smaller. I kept having to tell him make it a little bigger, a little bigger, a little bigger, without having to deal with shading and color and all that. I'm just like, hey, get me in the chair, get it on, get me out. That's all I want. But I'm a huge Henry David Thoreau fan. I read Thoreau a lot, and coincidentally, we're recording this on where are we recording August 20th. And he had this journal. He wrote Walden. Maybe y'all have studied it in school, maybe not, but he wrote this journal that he kept up with for a couple of years, not a couple of years, a lot of years. Some of it crossed over when he was in Walden Woods and near Boston, uh, living in the woods on his own, self reliance for 2 years, 2 months, 2 days. And it's about writing, which made sense to me. And he talked about like how vain it is for someone to sit to write, like to only sit, like if everything I ever wrote was just sitting at this desk, it would be boring. I would be boring. I'm not experiencing what I'm writing about, or who I'm talking to. I kind of liken it even to a podcast, who I'm talking to. And so he said, and I've got it on these wristbands too, but he said how vain it is to sit to write when you've not stood to live. And so I just kind of present tensed it and just went stand to live.
Yeah.
And it's I love that for the writing aspect. It reminds me that I'm like, okay, I can't do every interview or whatever just over the phone. Like I've got to go immerse myself. I've got to get out of the house. I've
All
got to go to the woods. I've got to go meet people where they are. I've got to go experience things with people. And then honestly, there's a little bit of that that's like, hey, don't don't be lazy. Just get off your butt. Like go outside. Like it's. We live in this world. And it's like just go outside. Leave this behind if you have to, and
Yeah.
and go outside. You don't live much sitting down, and so it's a reminder to me in a lot of ways. And my granddad recently passed away, so I got it in his handwriting. Um, so those are my two, and I am two and done. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it again. I'm not getting in that chair uh with the anxiety of like, all right, is this cream gonna wear off? Because I don't really want to feel this, like not in that spot, not right there. So
Yeah. I can imagine right there. Eventually I'm probably gonna do a full sleeve. I've always wanted tattoos. I love tattoos from a young age. I remember
yeah,
watching Alabama football, AJ McCarron and his tattoos. I thought that was the coolest thing. Yeah.
I can't imagine how long that took and how much that hurt.
Um, you kind of it's a weird thing to say, but you kind of get used to it. like you just sit there and you kind of realize, oh, I gotta do stick a needle in me. You don't really realize, but
Yeah.
some spots are more tender than others. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm still gonna get some more.
Yeah. I like that. Hey, full, and I'm assuming that's throwing arm.
It is my throwing arm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll look fire as you. Yep. So let's wrap with this. Just kind of plans for the future. Like you said, here pretty soon you want to make a decision about that future. But college beyond that, like what is it that you ultimately want to do, and how do you get there?
Um, ultimately, my goal is to play baseball for as long as I can. But I mean that's my goal. I don't know if that's my purpose or not. Whatever God really kind of puts on my heart is my purpose. That's something that has already been set in stone. So that's my job to kind of figure that out. But I definitely believe it's going to be something with the game of baseball, no matter if it's playing or coaching. But no matter what I do, the biggest thing is kind of continue to share the word, share the gospel. I'm a big guy on my faith. I believe in faith, and I believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross for my sins, and that's something that is very important to me and the number one thing in my life. So, kind of ultimately, whatever life takes me, that's my biggest thing is continue with baseball, but ultimately my purpose.
That's awesome. Hey, that's the perspective. You have already won.
Right, right,
That's it. Well, I appreciate you, Nick, and I wish you guys, we're several months away, obviously, but I uh I wish you guys a lot of luck, and it's been a while since I've covered a high school baseball game. I need to I need to drive over Deerfoot and come see you guys play this spring, and maybe maybe give Landon and Justin, maybe heckle them from the stands or something like that.
for sure.
I'll go full Bobby Valentine mustache and disguise myself a little bit and just egg on them a little bit.
For sure. I like the idea. Do it. Do it.
I'll clip this for Justin for sure.
All right.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.